Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming today. My name is Leah. I'm the administrative assistant here at Africa Fire Mission. I just want to thank you all for coming to today's training. It's going to be a great one, so I'm really excited that you guys can all make it. Throughout the training, I just want to remind everybody to please stay muted. If you have a question, you are more than welcome to unmute. The most effective way is just to raise your hand and then wait for a good moment where you will make sure that you get to ask your question, or you can type it in the chat, and I will be looking for that as well. And if you're also sitting and you're in a big group of people and you're all watching on one device, you can also type that in the chat or direct message me, and I will be able to see that and then make sure that everyone in your group gets a certificate. But the name on your screen is going to be the name on your certificate. And so it was even happened a few times last week. The name on your screen might be your phone name, and you don't want that on your certificate, probably. So if that's not the name you want, please just change it, or you can email me about it, and we'll get that changed. But for right now, I'm going to pass this off to Jose, our fire safety advocate, and he has a little word of encouragement for you guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Leah. I truly appreciate and welcome everybody and finding time to join us today. Today, the word of encouragement comes from, let me try do my screen sharing. Yeah, that's actually, you can see that, Leah? Great. I'm just wanting to use that photo for my encouragement of today. And as you can see on the photo, we have three first responders. And what happened today was quite interesting. When I came to work, when I was coming to work, I just had a phone call from one of the community members that there's an area within Mathare that is on fire. And because I was still on the road, I couldn't be able to go and wear my PPE and attend to the fire. But when I reached the fire scene, I found out that they had already contained the fire. And one interesting bit I saw is that the crew of Nairobi Fire Brigade were doing a debrief. You know, they were doing a debrief and they were talking with each other. What went good? What went bad? What happened? Could we have done better? Wow. And I was really encouraged. They hadn't noticed that I was there, though I actually knew them and they know me. I just wanted to listen in. And I saw one very interesting bit. And this is actually the encouragement of the day. They were encouraging each other. And I'm taken to this book in the Bible from 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11. Let me try share my screen again. 1 Thessalonians, give me a minute. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11. It says, therefore, encourage one another. Oops. I don't know why that has come up. Encourage one another. Therefore, encourage one another and build one another up, just as you are doing. You know, when I was listening in, they were really telling each other, hey, you did a good job. Hey, you backed me up. Hey, when those community members tried to take the hose, you actually shielded me from the community hitting me. And I just interjected and I told them, wow, I am so proud of all of you guys. You guys have done it good and you have made us really proud, you know? So even when you're in the firehouse, my fellow first responders, as soon as you finish containing the fire, please encourage each other. Tell each other how important they are, that because you're a team, you are able to contain that situation. Be it in a pit latrine rescue or a vehicle car rescue, or in that particular scenery that was really not so friendly, encourage each other. Find something good to tell your colleague so that they can feel much more comfortable and they can feel worthwhile. Thank you very much. Back to you, Leah. Tell us what's next.
Thank you so much, Jose. We always really appreciate your word of encouragement. So thank you so much for sharing that today. And I love that you're adding in pictures now. It's so much fun. But thank you so much for that. And I just want to remind everybody right before we start that this is a recorded training. And so that means it's going to be posted on our YouTube channel later on. So if there's anything in this training that you thought, oh, that was really good, I want to rewatch that, or I want to freshen my memory on that, you can always check our YouTube channel, and all of our past trainings are on there as well. So if there's one that you missed, go check it out, go watch it. It's all that good stuff. But right now, I just want to introduce Benson to you guys. He has a great presentation for you today about vehicle fire behavior. And so, Benson, I'm going to pass it off to you now.
Good morning. Good morning, Abaya Subui. Actually,
Good afternoon.
you guys are, it's afternoon.
Evening, actually
Yeah.
evening.
It's evening, yeah. We just woke up,
Yeah.
and I am grateful that I get to see another day today. So thank you, Jose, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, Leah, for giving me the opportunity. As we begin here, it's true. We'll be talking about car fire behavior. So I'm going back and forth to the notes. But before I start, yeah, my name is Benson Ngatia. I am, Nilizaliwa Kenya. I am, was there till my teenage year, about 15, 20 years old. That's when we had an opportunity to come to US and for school. And we were on our way back home when got up an opportunity to go to college here. So it is from that I got recruited to the fire service, and I've been working with South Metro for the last a little over 8 years now. And then this year I was in contact with Chief Mylan. He saw me at a drill ground and he said, you look different, you sound different. And he said, there's something different about you, but I want to talk to you. So yeah, so we went and talked about actually Nyama Choma, and he was very impressed. And the next thing I know, I'm being invited to African Fire Mission, and so I'm excited to be part of the team. And I'm excited to be back home this November, because here's why I say that. About 20 years ago, we were driving from Mombasa, and right before we arrived to Nairobi, there was a head-on collision with a lorry and a personal car. And so my own grandmother was working at Kenyatta National Hospital. She was the head chaplain, and my mom also worked at Kemery. So they were all medical people. But when we arrived to this accident, there was unfortunately a couple fatalities with a couple bodies laying around. And I remember stepping out of the car and feeling very helpless, not knowing what to do. And so that day I asked God, I was like, what is this thing you've put in my heart? And I didn't know in 20 years I'm gonna be the one responding and putting fires out and risking my life for other people's life. And God had started the work in me a long time ago. So I want to encourage you guys as we move on through this lesson. Don't forget that God has a plan for you. We're in different contexts, but keep doing what you're doing, and keep doing what you're doing. And you never know what will come down the road. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. Stand by, share. All right, thumbs up. Can you see it? Anybody? Awesome. All right. So yeah. All right, let's do this. It's been a while since I taught a class, so I'm a little nervous. Got butterflies in my stomach and not enough coffee, but that's good. That's good. We can do this. So today I want to do something a little different. It's a very short lesson, but what I've experienced in the last month, I've been watching the interaction and the lessons being taught. I would like to provide time after this short slide so that we can discuss, right? We'll leave it open to questions. I don't mind answering some of the questions, but I want it also to go back to the group that all the men and women can interact. For example, this fire that just happened in Madare, you know, if we had some of the involved firefighter women in there, I would have loved to hear what did they see, you know. And forgive me if I use some terminology from the US and terminology from Kenya. I'll try to combine those two together. But what Jose was talking about is after action report. It is very, very important to have after action report. So I'm going to add to what Jose said. It's just not a fluke that, hey, this was a good fire or bad fire. It's very crucial those fire action reports are reviewed, because that's what makes lessons. That's what makes us understand how to fight fires and reach the community down the road when it happens again. So we'll go through this fire presentation real quick, and then we'll participate into question and answers, and not necessarily tea time, but specific towards car fires and experiences you have had. My experiences are different because the response system here is different and phenomenal. All right, so Howard sent me some pictures from African Fire Mission, so I hope this gentleman here and with the fire hose, I get to meet you in November. So that's good. All right, my objective is we're going to review fire triangle in relation to vehicle fires. We have looked at the fire triangle in relationship to house fires. We have start my timer here. Jose, make sure you keep me on track. How do we safely respond to motor vehicle accidents? We refer to this as MVA, motor vehicle accidents, which results into fires. Understanding your response tactics. What type of resources do you have? Understand priorities. And to make a disclaimer, this is not an extrication class. All right. When I made the lesson first, I realized it was top heavy extrication, but this is not an extrication class. My assessment to the class is that we all have some type of experience. So when we present lessons, I want to encourage us to take our experience and put it into that lesson and own to that lesson. It becomes yours. So my responsibility today is just to say things that you probably have already had. You've already umesikia. You've gone through it before. So I hope you can just pick up one or two nuggets. I don't expect you to understand the whole lesson, just one or two nuggets. Now, here's my philosophy. I got a lot of philosophy. Here's my philosophy. I always do this because at the end of the day, I have to come back home, right? I have to come back home because I'm responsible to my wife and to my 3 boys. Does that mean the public, I'm not responsible to the public? No, I will serve the public. But if something was to happen wrong, if I was to be killed or injured in the line of duty, I know I'm going to be injured because I was fully protected. I did my part to protect myself. So my philosophy, one of my philosophies, I'm going to learn fire and I'm going to be a good fire person so I can come back to my family safely. The law in the US, if a firefighter is injured or killed, there's a government compensation, but they do a full investigation. So if I went to a car fire without an SCBA and I inhaled the combustibles and I destroyed my lungs, I will not be compensated because I did not prepare myself for that. So I want to raise our bar a little high based on the things you have. Anyways, Just say you're supposed to put me back. So fire triangle, oxygen, heat, fuel. In a structure fire, right? We have the house, we have things that burn, right? Which cause a chemical reaction. Then we have oxygen that's displaced. So when we open the doors, we introduce oxygen, the fire that was small becomes big. We use water, we extinguish, we take one of the elements of heat, and the situation is taken care of. The same thing with a car, with a motor vehicle. Numerous things will happen in a car fire. So it could be a car in Thika Road, right? I've personally lost a car. We replaced the fuel pump and I forgot to put a pin, one of those clips to hold it together. The pipe got loose. It sprayed petrol on the engine and there went my entire car. So that's a single car. Different attack tactics to that. Could be a car accident where somebody rear-ended, akagonga gari ingine nyuma, and now we have two cars involved. It could be a car that has rolled over. It could be a car into the building. So when we talk about car fires, fire behaviors, there could be multiple ways to attend to that. So the question is, what are the basics understanding we need to have so when you show up to whatever situation it is, you have a starting point. So yeah, the fire triangle works the same way in a structure fire and the same way in a car fire. All right, the oxygen breaches the window, engine compartment is on fire, the front windscreen breaks, the fire moves into the compartment, it burns whatever it's in that compartment, creating more fire, right? The fuel that's gonna be burning, whatever is in that car, including fuel, petrol, brakes fluid, all that is gonna burn. We have to be aware of that. Then the heat generated. Our job is to break that chain reaction in order to take care of the car. So how do we respond to motor vehicle? I call them motor vehicle accidents, which results to car fires at times, right? There's 3 points I want to make out of this. So you have to understand your respond tactics. So for those who are chiefs in this conversation, for the leaders in this conversation that you've been appointed to oversee a crew, this is your question. What is your standard operation guideline? I believe in every tactics we do in the fire service, we should have, I call it the Bible. We should have the Bible on how to respond to it. So challenge to the leaders, to the chiefs, what is your standard operation guidelines that you offer to your firefighters? A challenge to the rest of the people, do you understand the operation guidelines? My department has 30 stations. And when we show up to a motor vehicle fire, it doesn't matter what station you're from, you'll be expected to have your PPE, full PPE, your helmet, and your SCBA on. So it doesn't matter which station I go, our standard operation guidelines states you should be fully PPE'd. So ask yourself, what are you required to do, right? Second, what is your game plan, right? My engine has 4 people. It has the officer, it has the engineer, and it has the 2 firefighters in the back. So when you come to my station, to my fire truck, when we respond to a car fire, I'm the person who's gonna be in the nozzle. Now, towards the end of this lesson, we're gonna see, I'm gonna play 2 videos, which we're gonna discuss about. You're gonna see what I'm talking about. I'm the person that grabs the nozzle. Nobody else, that's my job. My partner is gonna grab wheel chocks. We have to stop this car from rolling. I forgot to put a couple videos I found of fire trucks putting out fires, then the brakes go out on a burning car and it rolls into the fire truck, right? My partner is responsible to grab the chocks, these mbaos, neko kwa mguu, ndio gari sisonge. So that's my partner's responsibility. The engineer responsibility is to park the fire truck in a way that will protect us. He has to get the pump engaged, and he has to put barricades around, cones, to indicate there's a work going on. Then the officer's job is to do what we learned 2 weeks ago, a 360. We talked about 360s in houses. We do the same thing, 360s around the car, to identify, is there a life safety in that car? We're going to talk about that later. So understand your response tactics. What is your standard operation guidelines? It's important that your leaders give you that. And it's important that we also, as the wakabis, the kurutu, sindio tunafanya hiyo kazi, kadayamo oko, sindio Jose, we have to be the ones that understand what we are doing. Then, of course, what is your game plan? All right, are we tracking? We good? Thumbs up, we good? Awesome. All right, 2 is what type of resources do you have? You know, I did reach out to Jose, and I realized about 80 to 85% of African firefighters will not have an SCBA. And I'm not saying this, but that's the fact, right? So we have to adjust with what we have, right? And my hope, my vision is that one day we will challenge the public, the system, and we'll be fully equipped to protect them. That means SCBAs will be part of that deal, right? So part 2 is what type of resources do you have? So a fire truck, you know, but then you have to ask yourself, how do you get to the emergency, right? That is the question. Somebody calls, for us is 911. When I left Kenya, it was 199. And now I understand there's multiple other extra numbers. But when somebody calls, there's an emergency, there's a car fire in Mombasa Road. How long is it going to take us to get there, right? You have to understand what is the resources you have, what type of tools do you have, the amount of water you carry. You see, my engine is a truck, so we only carry 300 gallons, a little bit, couple, what is that, divide by liters. So not too much, 3-point-something liters, right? But I have to understand what I have, because if I have 300 gallons at 1,500 PSI pump, that means I have 2 minutes of water. So that means my tactics on how I attack that car fire, I have to be careful, because if I run out of water and I don't put the fire out, guess what? We're in bad shape, right? So what type of resources do you have? And what you have is what you have to use. So figure out what you have and be effective on how you use that. What type of PPE do you have? See what I'm saying? And what you have is what you use. So the conflict is, if you don't have a full SCBA mask, then maybe our approach to car fires is using the reach of the nozzle and the reach of the water, so you can create a distance between what's burning and what's in yourself. I'm sure we're going to talk down the road about medical, but you understand that one wrong inhalation of something that's burning from a house or a car not only has increased your chances of cancer, but it's an imminent lung damage, which results in imminent death. So that's a sad fact about it. So how do we attack? What type of resources do you have? Number 3, understand your priorities. I'm going to use some terminology here that I want us to dance with it. Here's my priorities, right? Life safety. That's my number 1. When we respond to any kind of structure fire, car fire, here's my number 1 priority: life safety. The life safety of me and my crew, and the life safety of the civilians. If you get injured, then you're no good, right? That means your job to protect the civilians is no good. So I have to consider, and I'm encouraging you to consider, how to understand your priorities. When I show up on car fires, I have to understand that my safety comes first so that I can be able to protect the civilians to my best. That includes your PPE, right? That includes how your engineer is going to park the fire truck. That includes not walking on thicker road. You're going to find a way to protect yourself. That means knowing your job, right? Here's what I mean. Incident stabilization. That's number 2. So we got life safety. Am I safe? Are the civilians safe? And this is a conversation we can have down the road. What do you do when you show up on a car fire or a house fire and people are throwing rocks to you? You see, that is a life safety. So the question is, how do we handle that, right? Second, incident stabilization. We have to put the fire out, right? That's why we are there. So question is, I want to risk a lot, and you heard this from Mr. Howard. We have to risk a lot to save a lot. So in other words, if my life safety tells me there's somebody still trapped in the car, then I have to risk a lot to save a lot. Does that make sense? Thumbs up. I have to risk a lot to save a lot because I know there's a victim. My job is to risk my life for others. You guys are getting ready to do the stair climb, right? Can you picture the 100+ firefighters at the Trade Center when they were going upstairs? All the people are coming downstairs, right? And that usually gives me chills. Every fire I've been, we walk in, people are screaming, coming out. And every time I do that, it always plays with my head. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm supposed to be going with them. But we risk a lot to save a lot. Here's the catch that I feel sometimes due to our culture, we get confused. Is when my boss told me, risk little to what is already lost. So if you're responding to a car down Thika Road and it took you 20 minutes to get there, what is there to save? Right? So mwananchi anakuwa na hapo na aweki maji kwa moto, utapigwa na mawe, si ndio? They're gonna be like, wait a second, you showed up to put this car fire out and you're not, well, then I'm telling you, this guy's gone. There's no reason for us to risk our life or even to waste our water. This car's gone, right? So now we have to educate the public what this means. But for us, we have to put this in mind. We have to risk a lot to save a lot, and we have to risk little to what's already lost. And unfortunately, I've had 2 to 3 incidents where we have had to continue with a structure fire when there's a dead body there because there's nothing we could do. They were dead. Public, they're like, save him. We're like, well, we can't. They're already dead. We have to put the rest of the fire because if we don't stop this fire, we have more houses that'll be affected. Then finally, property conservation, right? Save what you can. You know, the last car fire was in, my crew ran, it was about 6 months ago. We put the fire out and we high-fived. It was like, oh, this was a simple fire. Well, my officer decided to do another 360. What we did not realize, there was a body in the back seat in the floor, right? So we forgot, we put the fire out, but nobody thought of checking the doors. So my officer is using a tick to look around and he's like, that's strange. We open the back door, there's a burnt body in there, right? And I know some of my other crews have told me, hey, fungua boot, you know? Then you open the boot and you find, 40 pounds of bangi or cocaine, right? So you just never know what you're gonna do. But I'm telling you, when you write a report, you better cover all your bases. So that's your property conservation. You say what you can, right? What I'm saying is if you respond to a car fire and it's an engine compartment, we can put that out. The chances of that car being driven again is zero. However, these people still have goods. They still have their properties inside the car. So we can save the car by putting the engine fire out because they have stuff. They have stuff in the boot, in the back seat, so forth, so on. Okay, so life safety, instant stabilization, property conservation. All right. So we're gonna talk a little bit here about before we get into videos. This is kind of what I'm talking about. If you look on your top left, you know, that's a fully involved car, right? Am I gonna risk my life for that? What do you guys think? Just shake your head, yes or no. Am I gonna risk my life for that? That car is gone, right? Look on your top right. How many cars have you gone? Na ni radiator inamwaga maji. It looks like that, right? So that we can risk everything to stop that, right? That's just one on a rate. Now, given this has a fire in it, but most cars radiator inamwaga maji, so we have that. Now, how about the bottom left? What do you guys think? Do you think we can? Do you think we can risk that? Do you think we have potential for that? I think we do. I think we have potential. That's an engine fire. So we can put that out because the compartment, we can save people's stuff, their handbags, their chakula ya uchumi, all that stuff is in there. We can save that. Now look at the other one. That's compartment involvement. That to me is a lost cause. Now, really quick while we are here, it's just not about the car. If you look on the left side, the bottom one, if we let that fire go, that fuel is gonna continue to pour. Do you see the other 3 cars next to that? That's a potential, right? Look at the right one. That's a potential. There's a house next to it. So it is important to still risk a lot to save a lot. But now I'm gonna slow down a little bit, attack this fire, but my mind is telling me I'm doing this to protect the house that's next to it, or the cars that are next to it. Or maybe it's a 5-car accident, moja iko na moto, I'm protecting the other cars, right? All right, let's put it together. We're wrapping this up. Let's put all this together. Let's see how my time is. Good. So here's how I size up the situation. How I talked about sizing up a building. This is the same thing I size up. So put these cars into your image, and let's go to this. So I show up to a car fire. You know, my first question is, what do I see? Right? I see one car, maybe smoke showing, maybe engine involvement, maybe compartment involvement, maybe fully involved. You see, we have to do this in the US because most departments are going to respond with 2 engines. So when I'm the first one that shows up and I say it's a fully involved, the other engine coming in is going to hear that. So they're going to start getting ready for water supply. Because if it's fully involved, that means we're going to be putting a lot of water. If it's smoke showing, that tells the other crew that's coming in, hey, slow it down. It's okay. We just have smoke for right now. If it's engine, we know that our tactics are going to be trying to get that water into the engine as soon as possible, right? So that's called the size up. What type of resources? We talked a little bit earlier about that. You know, make yourself visible. That's a vest, right? A lot of times we joke about that, but that's important, right? I cannot tell you how many times we have had pedestrians hit our fire truck. I'm like, they're like a bunch of mosquitoes. They see the fire lights and they're attracted to it, you know? And if you're on the way, you're gonna get hit. So make yourself visible, you know? Whoever's driving the engine, block your scene, create a safe zone, as I call it, for your colleagues to work on. Now, I don't know what my boss in Kenya would say if we destroyed a fire truck, but I can tell you this. I'd rather have the fire truck destroyed, but my colleagues are alive. Right? So protect yourself. Chief, if you're there, forgive me for that statement, but I love my firefighters more than I do my fire truck, right? So protect the people. Then use your PPE. You know, we have a silly game. If I'm not ready to take the nozzle, my partner will, because he's ready. So, and we talked about studies, a lot of death has been caused by people not seeing us work. So we talked about life safety, incident stabilization, you know, risk a lot to save a lot. Car fires, safe space to work. Make sure you check your wheels. We're gonna see a diagram of that. Approach at a 45-degree angle. We're gonna see a video on that. Sweep the bottom, because all that fuel is in the bottom. We want to protect ourselves through that. Upwind, uphill. You gotta be, you don't want to inhale all that smoke coming to you, so you gotta be uphill, upwind. Then the last part is usually overhaul. You know, this is the fire's out. We need to get inside that car to make sure that yeah, the fire's out. Nothing suspicious is in there. And always evaluating change in condition and our safety. What you see when you come in is gonna change every minute. So make sure you're keeping an eye on that. I'm gonna show you a video. So you guys understand stress, shock absorbers, right? This is a danger we are talking about. So look at this picture. You see on the corner, you see that red arrow? That's a shock absorber exploding. That will kill you instantly. So that's why you come in a 45-degree angle. You know, that's why you want to sweep in the bottom, clear all that debris in the bottom, cool the car off, put the fire out. You don't want that to be so supercharged, because all this, they are filled with, some of them are springs, but some of them are also fluid. They heat up, they have to go somewhere, right? This is stabilization. Easy to nimbao, right? That car is not going anywhere. When the miguzi kitoboka, the car will sit on that. If it goes backwards, forwards, that's going to hold it together. So that's what I meant by stabilization. At the end of the fire, that car should look like that. You see what I'm saying? We opened the tulifungua bonnet, and initially you cool the environment, you push the combustibles out, then somebody is going to come with a saw or whatever tool you have. You're going to open all that, and you're going to make sure all that is completely gone, right? The fire is completely out. That's what we're looking. That's what we're looking at. All right. Next couple minutes, let's look at this. So can you see the notes in the bottom? Just okay, good. So I'm going to play this video. Here's what I want to see. See the fire truck approach. See how it blocks. See the officer positioning on a 360, and see how the firefighters respond. And listen very carefully. The first 5 seconds, you're gonna hear an explosion. All right, so here we go. And Jose, can you hear me while the video is playing? Yeah?
Yep, we can hear you, but you can't see the video. No video showing.
No video showing?
No.
You might have to reshare your screen and choose to share the screen that the video is on.
Oh, okay. So stop the share, right?
Yeah. Or if it's on your desktop, you might just be able to switch to the video. Like if you're sharing your whole desktop.
That's what I did. Desktop. Share. How about now?
I can see it now.
Yep.
Sweet. Listen to that. Did you guys hear that? You see that? Okay, we'll move on.
The audio is just a little squeaky.
Uphill, upwind, right? You can hear me though, right? And still see the video, right? So see how everybody has their job. The first guy grabbed the nozzle, the second guy backed him up, full PPE. The only thing they don't have is their masks, right? But they're getting ready to do that. All right. So here's the other thing. You see the guy in red hat, helmet? That's your officer, right? Do you see your officer touching the hose? No, they don't. He's command. That's his job. So he's gonna go around and perform a 360, right? Then the other three guys, they're the ones taking care of the problem. All right. Now, exposures. We have a house there and we have a house on the other side. So what do you guys think? I think that's it's a total loss, but we still have homes on either side that it could be possible exposures if we don't take care of the problem. Never forget your tool. All right, engine fire, engine compartment. So I'm on scene of one car, engine compartment fire. Engine 2 will be deploying an 1 3/4 for fire attack. That's how my radio report will sound. Then I would tell my crew, they know what to do. There's a nozzle man or a nozzle woman based on who I have that day. Then the officer with the red hat, you see, he just clicked on. He's not even close to the car. Water's flowing. They sweep the bottom and then they attack the engine. You guys remember fire tetrahedron? I like the white smoke. That shows conversion. That shows that steam converting. Then the steam puts out the fire, right? You might not see very well, but the officer went to the boot of the car. He stuck his head in there real quick, checked real quick if there's anybody. And now he's going to advance. You see that? Opens the door, checks in there real quick. He's fully protected. This is just steam. You see, your leader, bam, there we go. He's gonna purchase a hole in there. He wants that water to go all the way in the engine because that car's still hot. All right. All right, one more. Let's see, one more, then wait. There we go. All right. That's the same one. All right, stand by. Let me get rid of this. And let me get rid of all right, can you still see my screen? Strat explosion. All right, same thing, uphill, upwind. Let's watch one last one here, then we can discuss about it. All right, forget the commercial. Nobody's buying a house. All right.
No sound.
So you can see it? Can we
Yeah,
see it?
but we don't have.
Okay,
We can
good.
see it, but no sound.
Okay, we don't need sound. It's just image, right? What do y'all think? I mean, this is cooking. I mean, this is we got an accelerant in this. Look at that fire. It is blowing, right? right? So look, just real quick, I'll pause that. Do you see the level of the car? That means we have lost all the shock absorbers in the front. We have lost all the tires, so there's a very good potential this car could roll over. No, sio kupinduka, itasonga mbele. It does not, but there's a very, very good potential. What you don't see on the end of this side of the car, on the front end, if it rolls over, ikianza kusonga, it's going into somebody else parking, into their house. So that's why it's important. So I would put my chocks, mbao, tekapo on the back wheel, right? Okay, let's move on. So this is it's gonna be fully involved here pretty soon. It's been going on for a while, right? So Chevy Suburban. That's why we buy Fords. Okay, so there goes a fire truck. Where do they park? Uphill, upwind, away from the smoke. All right, let me fast forward a little bit. Okay, they get that. I personally don't like where they take the hose, right? Because I want to create a safe, more of a safe environment. So move away from the car, but they still do the job. Call for water, fully masked up, gloves, everything. So if they were to be injured, they get compensated because they had full PPE. And trust me, what we call workman's comp in US will investigate this. And if you didn't have your gloves on, the right gloves on, Paul Anna, thanks for being a hero. All right, then they go ahead and take care of the problem. Now you will see that in a little bit here. Now the officer will come in and do a full inspection. So to me, this would be a fully involved, all the windows are gone, so we have major damage on the car. All right, let's wrap this thing up, all right? Make sure everything is out, everything. All right, let's wrap this up. So just a couple more few things is that be aware, we don't know what's inside these vehicles, right? We have no clue what people are carrying, right? And everything to me is explosive till proven otherwise, right? Mitungi, chupas, mafuta, nobody knows. And also some of the special cars right now, all the like Teslas, electrical cars, magnesium. This is the same chemical they make. Just say, what do we baruti? Baruti. The
fireworks.
Yeah, similar chemicals are made for the magnesium, so they burn very hot. And as a matter of fact, water can't put it out, and or you need so much water. Sometimes we use dirt, mchanga, sand. But if this stuff flies into your bunker gear, it will burn all the way through your bone. So be careful of that. And then when we talk extrication some other day, we'll talk about electrical cars and the danger that poses. So quick recap: approach vehicle very cautiously. I believe that everything on a fire scene wants to kill you. So that's its job. So approach fire vehicles cautiously, use full reach of your tool, be your water, be your tool, use the full reach, stay away from it, right? And always chock your wheels, because it's also embarrassing for the news to show a car going down the hill, leaves you uphill. Then we're gonna move to overhaul, make sure the car's cooled off, and let the investigators do their job. That's it, my brothers and sisters. I'm gonna stop sharing and I don't know how to stop sharing. I'm gonna stop sharing. And yeah, so let's go back into questions, conversations. There we go. Yeah. Back to you, Leah, Jose.
Thank you so much, Benson. We do, as you say, we have about 10 minutes left. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute, type in the chat, or even if it's not questions about the material, I'm sure Benson would just love to chit chat with y'all for a little bit.
I have a question.
Yeah, I see your hand is raised, Mustafa. You can go ahead and talk.
Okay, I have a question to Ben. I have seen on the video firefighters are using different kinds of nozzles, but what I wanted to find out is how do you determine the type of stream that you want to use on a car fire? Should it always be a fog stream, or should it be a solid stream, or what? I don't know. And at what distance do you have to use each of the different streams?
Absolutely. Mr. Musa, that's an amazing question. So I'm going to answer it differently because I want to engage our brains, right? I want to engage. Yeah. So here's my professional answer to that is that when I show up on a car fire, based on how big the flames is, right? I'm going to change into fog. Because what does the fog protect you? It protects, there's so much heat coming to you, right? So I'm starting on fog because I'm going to advance into the car. Does that make sense so far? I'm going to move towards the car. So I'm starting with the fog. And usually this, I've seen like big lorries, big cars, big fire, too hot to get close. So I start and it eventually turns into a smooth stream. Does that make sense? So I start here to protect myself and my crew and my partner behind me. And as I move, it moves to a straight stream, aiming to the bottom of the car. See, I'm coming at a 45 degrees. I'm cooling myself off. And also part of that water is still going to the fire, to the car fire. As I advance, it comes in like this, stream directed to the bottom. I shoot real quick, 2 seconds in the bottom to eliminate whatever fuel is in the bottom and whatever fuel is between the car and me. I push it all out. Then as I come in, I direct it to a straight nozzle into the engine compartment or into where I have identified the fire is. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Hit that. Then as I'm hitting the engine, my partner might let go of the hose because I can now handle it. We've already advanced it. He's going to grab his halogen. He's going to give me access into the engine. So either he's going to do what you saw, just give me a little bend so that water can have somewhere to go. Or 99% of the time, just open the bonnet, open the car door, go in, pull your bonnet, and then your officer opens it up. And there you go. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Good.
Because I saw on this other video, firefighters had to stand at a distance, then use the straight stream to hit the vehicle. So I was asking myself to say, why is this happening? They are at a distance. Was it because they wanted too much force to hit the burning vehicle, or was there any reason why they had to do that?
And again, you're absolutely right, sir. It all depends, because if I respond to like some of the buses we have here run from LPG tanks, and if it's a tank that's on fire, I want to cool that off from a distance before I get close. So fog nozzle, you don't get distance. Straight stream, you get distance. So based on my scenario, what if I have an idea what's burning, I will stand at a distance, cool off as much as I can. Then when I feel it's safe, progress. But now ask yourself, my truck I'm in has 300 gallons. My engine has 800 gallons. So if I'm in an engine, I have time to play with water. If I'm in a truck, I I have 2 minutes of water and I'm out of water. So the thinking, I call them thinking firefighters, right? Is you assess, and that's where your leadership comes in with your crew. Hey, we have an LPG tank that's on fire. Let's cool the environment because we don't know what state is in before it explodes. Once we cool off, we advance and put the fire out. Put the fire out, take the problem out. So yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you, brother.
Emmanuel, I also see that your hand is raised. You want to ask a question?
Yes. Good afternoon, officers.
Good
And may
afternoon, Emmanuel.
God always bless you guys for good work that you guys are doing. First of all, I just want to add something to what my senior brother just said. During the conversation or the teaching, I heard him on two things. Always, I'll use my country as an example. Because where I work, the fire engine that we are using is 12 years now. We've been using this fire engine for 12 good years. So the community I work in, we do travel like 1 hour to fight fire, to go and fight fire. So within this community, you calling someone for assistance, even the car is less and is over age. So any emergency that they will call you for assistance or for you to respond, whether it is good or it's bad, you are going to face the consequence. There's no one that who is coming that you have hope, because you yourself, the car that you are using is 12 years. The one who is coming to help you or to assist you, your car has a better position than more than that car. So in this case, if there is any problem that you go, no matter what the situation is, you have it in your brain that you are going to do everything from A to Z. You don't have any support that who is coming to back you so that I can feel proud on fire scene. And secondly, I mean, when I check Africa or Ghana per se, compared to American system, is very far. They can have like 2-3 fire engines at one particular fire station. But here is the case, my country, Ghana. 1 fire station, 1 fire engine. So the distance involved tells you something.
Yeah.
And the qualities that American has is different from the quality Ghanaian cars have. So in this case, if there is I heard my senior brother also say, if there will be an accident, he is going to rather protect the firefighters more than the fire engine. But in our case in Ghana like this, if there is a fire truck accident or fire engine accident, the leaders, the chief fire officers and the directors or whatever, first call that they will make, they will ask about the fire engine more than you, a fire officer or a firefighter who is in the car.
Right.
Because they thought that the fire engine is more important than you.
Mm-hmm.
So they will ask about the truck first before human being or before you're a firefighter.
Yep.
But America, it's not that way. They
Right.
do care about the personnel more than the fire truck.
So, Mr. Emmanuel, I
Yes, sir.
lose sleep over that. I literally lose sleep over that because I know what we face in Africa.
Yes.
And I lose sleep. And one of the hardest to teach in a setting like this is because it's usually, sometimes we try to show how we can be. But at the bottom line is that we have to work with what we have.
Yes.
And so my hope and my goal is that we can change the future. we can break cultural norms, we can challenge. Because I tell you what, the passion that firefighters have in Africa in general, we work with nothing. In America,
Yes.
we have things, but I don't want to compare America and Africa. Let's see where we are at and work with what we have, because the calling you have as a firefighter supersedes the tools you have.
Yes.
So we continue to use our brains and the strength our Lord has given us to do the best we can. It is very difficult, brother, because not other countries don't understand the context we have. So that's why I'm proud with African Fire Mission. Little by little, there could be assets to make us better. Then when we grow older, our children, we will change Africa and will be competitive as much as America is. I believe that. Might not be
Yes.
my lifetime, but I believe my children
Yes.
will anticipate to that. Thank you so much, brother, for sharing that.
Yes. And so one more thing. Always I feel proud to be part of African Fire. Things that we are learning here. Anytime I've been I'll be on duty, I keep going back and remember some of the things that we are learning here. And it's helping us a lot in our various stations. It's very helping us in our various stations.
Right.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Thank you, Benson. Yes, we saw I believe the shirts that you made, Emmanuel. Those are so amazing. We saw those. But I just want to wrap things up and we can transition into tea time here in a little bit. But just thank you everyone for coming today, and thank you, Benson, for presenting. We have
Before you wrap up, Leah.
Yes.
Before you wrap up, I just wanted to find out, there was a request that we made asking the team to prepare a training on pumps and engines and the like. I don't know, how soon should we expect that?
I know that for sure it's not in the next few weeks, but we are preparing our schedule for next year. We make every schedule a year in advance, roughly, just so that we can find presenters that have that expertise to present the topics. So it's definitely in the works, but I can ask. We have a coordinator, Howard Cohen, that has a better idea about the topics.
Yeah, the reason why I keep on insisting on these lessons is that, you know, firefighters can be perfect, but if the operator is not conversant enough with what he is doing, the perfection of the firefighters won't materialize on an incident or on the ground. That's the reason why, you know, for some reason, firefighters can have very good tactics of fighting a fire, but the one who's supplying them with resources like water and any other things is not, doesn't have that knowledge to supply them efficiently, then it will mean everything will flop. That's why we keep on asking, regardless of the fact that I'm a pump operator. I'm biased of myself, but still more, I feel it's very important.
Yes, it is very important. So thank you for bringing it up, and we're definitely taking that. And it's in the works. We just have to plan some of that out. But thank you so much for asking about that, and thank you everyone for coming today. As I said before, this is a recorded training, and it'll be up on our YouTube channel later in the week. I always invite you guys to share the registration link, share the YouTube links, social media, all that good stuff. But now I am going to transfer and transition this to Jose so that we can have tea time. Thank you, everybody. Bye.